My child, be still. I see what you have been carrying. I know the pressure you have not spoken about. I know the fear that visits your mind when everything becomes quiet. But today, I want you to remember this. I am God. I am your refuge. I am your strength. I am your very present help in trouble. You do not have to carry this battle alone. I know you did not come here by accident. Something in you needed to hear a voice that was not tired, not rushed, not impatient with you. So I am speaking now. Not to your circumstances. Not to your bank account. Not to the noise around you. I am speaking to your heart. Because that is where I start every change I ever make in a life. Not on the outside first. On the inside first. You have been holding your breath for a long time, haven't you? Waiting to see if today will be the day everything falls apart. Waiting to see if the ground under your feet is as solid as it looks. I want you to hear me clearly. Even if the earth under you were to give way. Even if the mountains you built your life on were to shake and fall into the sea. Even if the waters around you roared and foamed and the very foundations trembled. I would still be your refuge. I would still be your strength. That is not poetry to me. That is a promise older than the mountains themselves. You have been afraid that if you stop holding everything together, it will all collapse. But I am not asking you to hold it together. I am asking you to let me hold you. There is a difference between carrying a burden and being crushed by one. For a long time, you have not known the difference, because no one ever showed you what it feels like to set something down at my feet and actually leave it there. So today, I am going to show you. Be still, and know that I am God. Not, be still and figure it out. Not, be still and pretend it doesn't hurt. Be still, and know that I am God. Let your shoulders drop for a moment. Let your jaw unclench. Let the tightness in your chest loosen, even just slightly, because you are not in this room alone. I am here. I have been here the entire time you thought you were carrying this by yourself. I want you to think, for just a moment, about everything that is shaking in your life right now. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is your marriage. Maybe it is a child who has wandered far from everything you taught them. Maybe it is a job that no longer feels safe, or a bank account that keeps you up at night, or a diagnosis you have not told everyone about. Maybe it is simply exhaustion. The kind that sleep does not fix. I am not going to pretend that all of it will vanish the moment this video ends. I do not deal in magic tricks. I deal in relationship. I deal in presence. I deal in faithfulness that unfolds over time, the way a sunrise unfolds, slowly, but completely, until the whole sky is different. What I am telling you today is this. Whatever is shaking around you does not have the final word. I do. Nations rise and nations fall. Empires that seemed permanent have crumbled into dust. Kingdoms that thought they would last forever became footnotes in history. But I have never once lost my throne. I have never once been surprised. I have never once looked at your life and thought, I did not see this coming. So when your world trembles, and it will, because that is the nature of a broken world, I need you to remember whose hand you are actually standing in. Be still, and know that I am God. Say it with me, even quietly, even in your mind. You are not asking me to freeze. You are not asking me to stop moving forward with your responsibilities. You are asking me to stop striving in your spirit long enough to remember that I am already at work. There is a kind of stillness that has nothing to do with your body and everything to do with your soul. You can be still running errands. You can be still holding a crying child. You can be still sitting in a hospital waiting room. Stillness, the way I mean it, is a settledness in your spirit that says, no matter what this looks like right now, I know who holds it. I am asking you to trust me with the part you cannot control. Because here is the truth. You were never meant to carry the weight of controlling outcomes. That weight was never made for human shoulders. It was made for mine. You have been trying to wear a weight that does not fit you. No wonder you are tired. So today, I am changing your fear into faith. Not by removing every hard thing from your path, but by changing what you believe about who walks that path with you. Fear says, I am alone, and this could destroy me. Faith says, I am not alone, and even if this is hard, it will not have the final say over my life. I am not asking you to feel nothing. Fear is not a sin. Fear is simply a signal that you love something and you are afraid of losing it. But I do not want fear to be the voice that drives your decisions. I do not want fear to be the lens you see your future through. So I am placing something new in you today. A quiet confidence that was not there yesterday. A whisper that says, this is not the end of my story. I am changing your fear into faith, one small act of trust at a time. You will not wake up tomorrow with zero anxiety ever again. That is not how a real relationship with me works. But you will start to notice the moments when peace shows up uninvited. When you expected panic, and instead you found a strange, quiet steadiness. That steadiness is me. I am not a God who fixes everything and disappears. I am a God who stays. Who sits with you in the waiting room. Who rides in the car with you to the appointment you have been dreading. Who is present in the silence after the phone call you did not want to receive. I am with you in the storm. Not just after it. Not just before it. In it. If you believe that I am already at work changing things in your life, even the things you cannot see yet, I want you to type the words, God is changing everything, in the comments right now. Or simply type, I give it to God. Or even just, Amen. Not because I need proof of your faith. I already see your heart. But because there is something powerful about speaking a declaration out loud, or in writing, instead of only thinking it. There is someone else scrolling past this video right now who needs to see those words in the comments to remind them they are not the only ones still holding on. Let your faith become a light for someone else's dark night. Now, let me speak to your worry. I know worry has been a companion of yours for longer than you would like to admit. It shows up in the quiet moments. In the space between tasks. In the minutes before sleep, when your mind finally has room to run through every what if it has been collecting all day. What if the money doesn't stretch? What if the test results are bad? What if they leave? What if I fail? What if it's too late? What if no one ever really sees me? I hear every one of those questions, even the ones you have never said out loud. And I am not offended by your worry. I am not standing over you with disappointment because you have not figured out how to stop being afraid. I am simply inviting you into something better. There is a river, my child, whose streams bring joy to the place where I dwell. That river does not depend on the chaos outside its banks. Nations can rage. Kingdoms can fall. The world outside can be as loud and unstable as it wants to be. But that river still flows, steady, quiet, life-giving. I want that river to flow through you. Not because your circumstances have calmed down. But because you have learned to draw your peace from a source that has nothing to do with your circumstances. Peace that depends on your bank account is not real peace. It is relief, and relief is fragile because it can be taken from you as quickly as it was given. But peace that flows from my presence, that kind of peace can exist even in a storm. That is exactly what I want to give you today. Not the absence of hard things. The presence of a peace that does not make sense given what you are walking through. People will look at your life and wonder how you are still standing. How you still have a kind word for people. How you still show up. How you still laugh sometimes, even now. That will be my peace, resting on you like a covering you did not have to earn. I am changing your worry into peace. Again, this is not a single moment of magic. This is a daily surrender. Some days you will feel the worry try to climb back into the driver's seat. When that happens, I do not want you to be harsh with yourself. I am not harsh with you. I simply want you to come back to me. Again. And again. And again, if you need to. Bring me the worry about your children. I see them even when you cannot watch over every step they take. Bring me the worry about your health. I know every cell in your body, and I have not looked away from you, not for a single second. Bring me the worry about tomorrow. I am already there. I am not scrambling to catch up to your life. I am not surprised by what is coming. I am not late. I know that phrase might sting a little, because somewhere in your heart, there is a part of you that wonders if I forgot about you. If maybe I answered everyone else's prayers first and yours got lost somewhere along the way. I want to gently correct that thought right now. I have not forgotten you. Not for 1 hour. Not for one night. Not during the season when you cried yourself to sleep and wondered if anyone, even me, actually noticed. I noticed. I was closer in that moment than you could feel. Sometimes my closest work happens in the places you cannot see. Underneath the surface. In the roots, before anything above the ground shows a single sign of life. A seed does not look like it is doing anything while it sits underground in the dark soil. But that is where the most important work is happening. That is where the roots are forming that will hold up everything that grows later. I am working where your eyes cannot see. The delay you are frustrated by is not neglect. It is often preparation. I am not just working on your circumstances. I am working on you. Building character, patience, endurance, depth, wisdom, so that when the answer comes, you are actually ready to carry it well. If I gave you everything the moment you asked, in the timing you demanded, you would never learn to trust me in the dark. And trust that is only built in the light is a very shallow trust. I want you to have a trust that can hold, even when you cannot see the outcome yet. So when you feel like I am moving too slowly, I want you to remember, I am not moving on your clock. I am moving in perfect wisdom, and I see the whole picture, not just the part in front of you right now. I am not late. I have never once been late in the entire history of humanity, even though it often felt that way to the people I loved most. Think of the ones who waited years for a promise. Think of the ones who wept in seasons that seemed to stretch on forever. And then think of how, when the answer finally came, it came at exactly the moment it needed to, not one day early, not one day late. Your story is being written the same way. I know that is hard to hold on to when the waiting has already lasted so long. I am not minimizing your exhaustion. I feel the weight of your tears, even the ones you cried alone in your car, or in the shower, where no one else could hear you. I heard you. I have not forgotten you. Now I want to talk to you about your strength, because I know you are tired in a way that rest alone cannot fix. You have been strong for other people for a long time. You have been the one who holds the family together. The one who shows up even when no one shows up for you. The one who keeps giving, keeps serving, keeps smiling, even while quietly running on empty. I see that. I am not asking you to keep pretending you are fine. I am asking you to let me be strong in the places where you are weak. There is a strange kind of strength that only comes out of weakness surrendered to me. It is not the strength of gritting your teeth and pushing through on your own willpower. It is the strength of leaning so completely on me that what moves forward is not just your own effort, but my power flowing through your surrendered heart. I am changing your weakness into strength. This does not mean you will suddenly feel invincible. It means that on the days you feel like you cannot take one more step, I will be the reason you take it anyway. It means that when you run out, I do not run out. When your patience is gone, mine is not. When your hope is flickering, mine burns steady, and I will share it with you if you ask me to. You do not have to fake strength in front of me. You do not have to perform wellness. You can come to me exactly as tired, as fragile, as uncertain as you actually are, and I will meet you there, not with disappointment, but with tenderness. I am the God who is close to the broken-hearted. I am the God who does not despise a weary spirit. I am the God who lifts up the bowed down. So bring me your exhaustion today. Bring me the parts of you that feel like they are running on fumes. I am not going to shame you for being human. I made you human. I know exactly how fragile these bodies and hearts are. But I also know how to breathe new strength into fragile places. I have done it before, for people who felt just as done as you feel right now. I will do it again, for you. Now, I want to speak about the way you have been carrying this. You have been holding your burdens with clenched fists, haven't you? Gripping tightly, afraid that if you loosen your hold for even a second, everything will fall apart. I understand why you grip so tightly. Somewhere along the way, life taught you that if you don't hold on hard enough, things slip away. People leave. Plans fail. Trust gets broken. So you learn to hold on with everything you have. But I did not design you to carry burdens the way you have been carrying them. I am changing the way you carry this burden. Not necessarily by removing it from your life today. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes the answer comes fast and clean. But often, especially with the deepest burdens, I change the way you carry them before I change the burden itself. I take the weight off your clenched fists and place it onto my shoulders, while you keep your hands open, ready to receive what I want to give you instead. An open hand can hold peace. A clenched fist cannot. An open hand can receive comfort. A clenched fist cannot. An open hand can be led. A clenched fist is too busy holding on to be led anywhere new. So today, I am gently asking you, not commanding you, asking you, to open your hands. I know this feels like a risk. It feels like letting go of control you have spent years building. But you were never actually in control of the outcome. You were only in control of your grip, and that grip has been exhausting you. Let me carry this with you. Not instead of you being present in your own life. I still want you engaged, working, showing up, doing your part. But carrying something with me, instead of carrying it alone, changes everything about how heavy it feels. Two people carrying one end each of a heavy table will tell you, the weight does not disappear, but it becomes bearable, because it is shared. You do not have to carry this battle alone. I have been standing right beside you the entire time, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to reach for my hand instead of white-knuckling this on your own. Reach for it now. I am not going anywhere. I want you to picture, for a moment, everything you have been holding on to today. The unpaid bills. The unresolved conversation. The relationship that feels distant. The health concern you have not fully faced. The dream that feels like it died a long time ago. Picture yourself setting each one down, one at a time, at my feet. You do not have to solve them all in this moment. You are simply choosing, right now, to stop pretending you have to carry them by sheer force of will. I am strong enough for all of it. I have never once been overwhelmed by a human problem. Not once. Nothing you bring me is too heavy, too messy, too shameful, too complicated, too far gone. I have carried heavier things than this before, for people who felt just as hopeless as you might feel today. And I did not drop a single one of them. I will not drop you either. Now let me speak about your direction, because I know part of what is weighing on you is not just the pain of today, but the uncertainty of tomorrow. You do not know which way to go. You feel stuck between decisions, afraid that if you choose wrong, you will waste years, waste chances, waste the one life you have been given. I want to loosen that fear a little. I am not a God who abandons you at a crossroads and watches to see if you guess correctly. I am the God who walks ahead of you, and beside you, and sometimes even carries you, especially when the path is unclear. I will not always show you the whole map. I know that frustrates you. You want to see 10 steps ahead, and I often only show you the very next one. But that is not because I am withholding information to punish you. It is because I know that if I showed you everything at once, you might not have the faith or the strength yet to handle it. I give light for the step in front of you, and when you take that step, I give light for the next one. That is how faith grows. Not all at once, but step by step, in a rhythm of trust. So if you feel unsure about your direction today, I am not asking you to have it all figured out. I am asking you to take the next right step you can see clearly, and trust me with the rest. I am working where your eyes cannot see, remember. Even your uncertainty is not wasted. Even this season of not knowing is shaping something in you that you will be grateful for later. I have never once led someone into an authentic, wholehearted surrender to me and then abandoned them in the wilderness without purpose. Every wilderness season I have ever allowed had a destination on the other side of it. Yours does too. I know you cannot see it yet. That is exactly why it is called faith, and not certainty. But I am asking you to trust the one leading you, even when the path itself is still unclear. I am your refuge. I am your strength. I am your very present help, not just in the emergencies, but in the daily uncertainty, in the small quiet moments when you wonder if you are doing this whole life thing right. You are not required to have it all figured out today. You are only required to stay close to me. I will handle the rest, in my timing, in my way, which is always better than the way you would have planned it yourself, even though it rarely looks the way you expected. Now, I want to gently speak about your heart, because that is really where I do my deepest work. You can change your circumstances and still have the same anxious, striving heart underneath. I have watched people get the job, the marriage, the healing, the breakthrough, and still feel empty, because the change they needed most was never on the outside. It was in here. In the quiet places of the heart where old wounds live. Where old rejections still echo. Where you learned, somewhere along the way, that you had to earn love, earn rest, earn belonging. I am changing that in you today, too. You do not have to earn my love. You never did. I loved you before you accomplished anything, before you proved anything, before you fixed a single thing about yourself. I love you in your mess. I love you in your doubt. I love you on the days you snapped at the people you care about because you were exhausted. I love you on the days you scrolled instead of praying, ate your feelings instead of facing them, avoided the hard conversation instead of having it. None of that surprises me. None of that disqualifies you. I am not waiting for you to become perfect before I move closer. I am already close. I have been close this entire time. So let me change your heart today. Not by shaming you into behaving better, but by loving you so completely that the behavior begins to shift naturally, out of gratitude, out of relationship, out of trust, instead of fear. Fear-based obedience is exhausting and it never lasts. Love-based trust transforms you from the inside, slowly, gently, and it lasts. I want your heart to soften today. Not to become weak, but to become tender again, open again, willing to hope again, willing to trust again, even after everything that has hurt you. I know trusting again feels dangerous. Trusting me, trusting other people, trusting that good things are still possible for your life. But a hardened heart, even though it feels protective, actually keeps out the very things you are hungry for. Joy cannot get through a hardened heart easily. Peace struggles to take root in soil that has turned to stone. I am not asking you to be naive. I am asking you to let me soften what pain has hardened, so that life can grow there again. I am the God who makes all things new, and that includes tired, guarded, weary hearts like yours. If you are still with me right now, and you feel something shifting, even something small, I want you to whisper it, or type it. God is changing everything. Or simply, Amen. Let that declaration remind you, and remind whoever else needed to hear it today, that change is happening, even in the quiet, even before you can see it with your eyes. Now let me speak once more about the storm, because I know that is the image that feels most true to your life right now. Maybe the storm is financial. Maybe it is a relationship falling apart in slow motion. Maybe it is a health scare that has rearranged everything you thought was secure. Maybe it is grief, the kind that does not follow a schedule, that ambushes you in the middle of an ordinary afternoon. Whatever your storm looks like, I want you to hear this clearly. I am with you in the storm. Not watching from a distance. Not waiting until it passes to show up. In it. With you. Right now, in whatever room you are sitting in as you hear these words. There was a night, long ago, when the ones who followed me were in a small boat, and a violent storm came up so suddenly that even experienced fishermen were terrified they would not survive it. And I was in the boat with them. Asleep, yes, in the back of the boat, but present. Never absent. When they woke me, afraid, I did not scold them for being human. I simply stood, and I spoke peace over the wind and the waves, and the storm obeyed my voice. I want you to remember that same voice is speaking over your storm today. I am not promising the wind will stop the moment this video ends. Some storms take time to pass. Some circumstances will still be difficult tomorrow morning. But I am promising you this. You are not in that boat alone. I am with you, even in the parts of the storm that have not calmed yet. And I have never once lost a boat with me in it. Even when the waves feel like they are winning, they are not stronger than my voice. Even when the wind feels relentless, it is still under my authority. You may not understand why I allow certain storms to last as long as they do. I do not always explain that, even to the people closest to me. But I do promise my presence in every single one of them. I am your refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Not a distant help. Not a delayed help. A present help. Right here, right now, in the middle of whatever trouble you are facing. So breathe. Let your shoulders come down from around your ears. Let your grip on the steering wheel of your life loosen just slightly. I am steering with you. I have not, and will not, abandon ship. I want to speak now about your worth, because I think somewhere in the middle of all this striving and worrying and carrying, you have started to believe that your value depends on how well you are managing your life right now. That is not true, and I want to correct it gently, but clearly. You are not more loved on the days you are strong, and less loved on the days you fall apart. You are not more valuable when your life looks impressive, and less valuable when it looks like it is falling apart at the seams. I loved you the same on your best day and your worst day. My love has never been a reward for good performance. It has always simply been who I am toward you. So if you have been quietly ashamed of how hard this season has been, if you have been comparing your messy middle to someone else's highlight reel, I want you to set that comparison down right now. Your story is not being written on the same timeline as anyone else's. I am not late with you just because someone else's breakthrough came faster. I am not distant from you just because someone else's storm looks calmer from the outside. Every life I hold is different, and every timeline is uniquely mine to write, with wisdom you cannot fully see from where you are standing. Trust the author, even when you cannot yet read the whole page. I know this season has stretched your faith in ways you did not expect. I know there were nights you wondered if I was even listening. I was listening. I have counted every tear, though you may not have known that. I have heard every prayer you were too tired to even fully form into words, the kind that come out as a groan, or a sigh, or simply silence with tears running down your face. I understood every one of those prayers. I have not forgotten you. Let those words settle into your chest for a moment. Say them back to yourself. He has not forgotten me. I am not carrying this battle alone. Now, I want to talk about what happens after this video ends, because real change is not just a feeling you have while watching a screen. It is a decision you make afterward, in the ordinary minutes of your ordinary day. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, and the weight of your circumstances comes rushing back before your eyes are even fully open, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to whisper, even before your feet hit the floor, "Be still, and know that you are God." That single sentence, repeated daily, can become an anchor for your entire day. It will not erase your problems. But it will change the posture of your heart as you walk into them. Instead of walking into your day with clenched fists and a racing heart, you can walk into it with open hands and a settled spirit, because you know who is walking with you. I am changing your fear into faith, a little more each day. I am changing your worry into peace, a little more each day. I am changing your weakness into strength, a little more each day. This is not instant. I know instant is what our culture has trained you to want. Instant answers, instant relief, instant fixes. But real transformation, the kind that actually holds up under pressure, is almost always slow, steady, and rooted deep, like a tree planted by a riverbank, whose roots reach toward the water even in seasons of drought, so that when the drought comes, the leaves do not wither. I am planting you by that river today. The same river whose streams make glad the place where I dwell. The same river that flows steady no matter how loud the nations rage outside its banks. Drink from it daily. Not just today, while emotion is high. Come back tomorrow. Come back the day after. Come back on the days you do not feel like it, because those are often the days you need it most. I will be here every time. I do not grow tired of you returning. I do not sigh when you come back with the same fear you brought yesterday. I welcome you exactly the same way every single time, with open arms and patient love. I want to say something else to you, gently, because I think you need to hear it. You are allowed to rest. I know rest feels irresponsible sometimes, like if you stop moving for even a moment, everything will fall apart. But I designed rest into the very rhythm of creation itself. Even I rested, not because I was tired, but because I wanted to model for you that productivity is not the point of existence. Relationship is the point. Presence is the point. Peace is the point. You do not have to earn your rest by exhausting yourself first. You are allowed to rest simply because I love you and I designed you to need it. So tonight, when you lay your head down, I want you to release your grip a little more than you did last night. Let your mind stop rehearsing every worst-case scenario. Let your body remember what it feels like to simply exist in my presence without performing, without striving, without proving anything. I am your refuge. A refuge is not a place you work hard to earn entry into. It is simply a place you run to, and you are welcomed the moment you arrive, exactly as you are, out of breath, tear-streaked, unsure, and afraid. Run to me like that tonight. I will not turn you away. I want to speak briefly about the people around you, because I know part of what weighs on you is not only your own struggles, but the people you love who are struggling too. Maybe you are watching someone you love make choices that terrify you. Maybe you are watching a marriage falter, or a friendship fade, or a child drift. I want you to hear this. You cannot carry someone else's freedom for them. I did not design you to be someone else's savior. That role already belongs to me. You can love them. You can pray for them. You can be present with them. But you cannot force a heart to change through sheer willpower or worry. I am working in their story too, even in places you cannot see. Even in silence. Even when it looks like nothing is happening at all. Release them into my hands the same way you are learning to release your own burdens. I love them even more than you do, if that is possible to imagine. I am not asleep at the wheel of their life either. I am working where your eyes cannot see, in their story, just as much as in yours. Trust me with the people you cannot fix. Now, before we come to the end of this time together, I want to remind you once more, clearly, simply, the way I began. I am God. I am your refuge. I am your strength. I am your very present help in trouble. I am changing your fear into faith. I am changing your worry into peace. I am changing your weakness into strength. I am working where your eyes cannot see. You do not have to carry this battle alone. I am changing the way you carry this burden. I am not late. I have not forgotten you. I am with you in the storm. Read those words again if you need to. Let them settle over you like a blanket on a cold night. Let them quiet the noise that has been running through your mind for far too long. You are not the same person you were when this video began. Something in you has shifted, even if you cannot fully name it yet. A little more room to breathe. A little more willingness to hope. A little more courage to open your hands instead of clenching your fists. That shift is me. That is what I do. I do not always announce myself with thunder and lightning. Sometimes I come like a whisper, like a quiet knowing settling into your chest, telling you that everything is going to be all right, even before your circumstances have changed at all. I want you to carry that whisper with you into the rest of your day, into tomorrow, into the hard conversation you have been avoiding, into the waiting room, into the quiet house, into whatever storm you are still standing in. I am with you there too. Before you go, I want to ask you for one small thing, and then I want to leave you with a blessing. If something in your heart has shifted today, even slightly, I want you to type it out. God is changing everything. Or simply, I give it to God. Or just, Amen. Not for me. I already know your heart. But because somewhere, someone else is scrolling through their own storm right now, feeling as alone as you felt at the beginning of this video. And your simple words in that comments section might be the exact reminder they need, that they are not the only ones still choosing to trust, still choosing to hope, still choosing to believe that change is possible. Let your faith become a lantern for someone else's dark road tonight. And if this message met you exactly where you are, I want you to consider staying close to this place where these words are shared. Subscribe, so that the next time your heart is heavy, there is a light already waiting for you. Like this message, not for performance, but so that someone else searching in their own quiet desperation might find their way to these same words of peace. Now, my child, receive this blessing as you go. May you walk out of this moment lighter than you walked into it. May your fear keep transforming into faith, one ordinary day at a time. May your worry keep dissolving into a peace that does not make sense to the people watching your life from the outside. May your weakness keep becoming the very place where my strength shows up the strongest. May you remember, in every storm still ahead of you, that I am already in the boat. May you stop carrying what was never meant for your shoulders alone, and may you learn, more and more each day, to open your hands and let me carry it with you. May you trust that I am never late, even when the waiting stretches longer than you hoped. May you know, down in the deepest part of your heart, that I have not forgotten you, and I never will. And may you rest tonight, truly rest, not because your circumstances are perfectly resolved, but because you know whose hands are holding them. Be still, my child. And know, all the way down to your bones, that I am God. I am your refuge. I am your strength. I am your very present help in trouble. Go in peace. I am with you. Amen.